sports and some DJ work. And along the way, I thought after 6 years, I hate myself. You'll hate yourself, Larry, if you don't try the deeper water, so to speak. So after 6 years of work as the program and sports director, WERK, we were the work crew. Picture a mirror image of KRIZ, WERK, KREW. That was our brilliant boss who came up with that one. After 6 years there, I said, time to start looking for greener pastures, because I'll hate myself if I don't at least attempt it. I looked at Broadcasting Magazine. There's an ad, Doubleday Publishing Company, looking for veteran disc jockeys to staff their new station in Phoenix, Arizona. The first of many broadcast properties, hopefully. So I set a tape there, and voila, I got the job. They moved my family and me, one son, and wife, clear across the country from Indiana to Phoenix in April 1971. Oh, there's one of my sons, that little kid. He's putting in a vote for me already. And we drove across country in my, which I'm glad I didn't know Stephen at the time, my brand new 442, Olds 442 pace car for the 1970 Indianapolis 500. Lettering on the side, the whole schmear. You didn't get to drive that, thank God. My son at the time was only about 8 or 9 years old, Nick. He's going to be 50 in March. He's image and production director for 5 CBS stations in West Palm Beach, Florida. He's completely restored that car, and everybody want to look at a 1970 Indianapolis 500 pace car, 442. I got it right on my iPhone, very proudly restored by myself. Now, getting back to I like to think about this as a little medium roast tonight, because I want to roast Shotgun Tom Kelly, my friend of 41 years, who failed to mention me in his little talk up here. I was his program director at KRIZ. And I'll never forget a shift change once. I was on the air, standing up, and we had a pretty big studio there and everything. Shotgun was coming on to relieve me on the air. That didn't sound right, but anyway, he was following me on the air. And he put his famous Smokey the Bear Ranger hat, Forest Ranger hat, on the ledge there, but he's taking it off. He rarely takes it off, but when he's got to put headphones on, he's got to take that lid off. He put it up there on the ledge above where the broadcast area was, where our board was. We ran our own boards. We didn't have board ops or anything there. And somebody else was standing there. There's a couple of other guys besides me in there, but the general manager, Gary Stevens, popped in. His first general managership, and he was terrified of the job because of the responsibility, and it wasn't doing that well at the time until Shotgun got there. But because when Doubleday came in, one of the biggest blunders in me, and I digress a little bit here, but I got to tell you this. They put a full-page ad, as I recall. It was a giant ad in the Arizona Republic, and what was the other paper? Anyway,
Phoenix Gazette.
Yeah, Gazette. And it said, Phoenix, bold letters, we're going to buy you and prove to you that we're the best radio station in town. Yeah, you talk about alienating old-time KRIZ listeners. I mean, and they expected to not only keep the audience they had with the old crew of local boys who grew up with the community and were so beloved, and they come out with something like that. Boy, we had a hell of a task of switching that image around. And it took a long time to do it, too. And it took a long-haired hippie, cocaine-sniffing programmer like Buzz Bennett to do the job. Believe me, he did the job. He changed the whole thing around, and the ratings started piling up. Anyway, when Shotgun got there, he wasn't near the wealthy man who forgets his old friends these days. is now after 15 years at KRIZ, right? I had to sign for him to get his phone put in Phoenix, right? $60 and make a $60 deposit with Mountain Ma Bell, and pretty soon he bought Ma Bell. He owns the damn company now, whatever its name is these days. But I got to tell you, let's finish that story about changing shifts with shotgun. In pops Gary Stevens, in his mid-30s, young general manager on the upswing with Doubleday Broadcasting Company, Doubleday Publishing Company, giant corporation. And he sees shotgun, Smokey the Bear, Mountie hat, like a Mounties or a Forest Ranger hat there. And he gets the bright idea, I'm going to try that on. Shotgun saw him reach for it, snatched it out of his hands and says, nobody touches my hat. That's sacred. And we started laughing like the other guys in the studio because we knew the secret of why Tom Kelly did not want the general manager to pick up his Smokey the Bear hat. Inside the lining of the lid of that hat were these little brown rolled cigarettes that if they fell out, he would have been in big doo-doo. Station policy was anybody caught with drugs, carrying drugs into the station, out. Fired immediately, unless the drugs were already in your body. There's plenty of that.
I'm running for Scott Campbell and my good friend Jim.
Now I want to tell you a story quickly about Lee Marshall. Lee Marshall was a morning newsman at KRIZ when I got there in 71. I don't know, were you there in 71 then, or was that 72 later? You came back, second time.
Based off lies.
Yeah, from San Diego. All right. I was tagged with filling in for one of the morning guys, which happened a lot with certain morning DJs at KRIZ at that time. So I was doing this 6 to 10 a.m. anyway, morning drive shift. And I had gone to a Mexican restaurant. It was in Serrano's, I think, the night before. And all of a sudden, I had a terrible urge to go down that long KRIZ hallway to the men's room, and not just for a brief encounter, a sit-down affair, right? And I'm on my braces, clear up to the thighs, and crutches, Canadian crutches, up to my elbows almost, moving as fast as I can because we had short newscasts, 5 to 6 minutes at most, right? And I'm saying, I got a monitor on in the men's room, right? So I could hear him winding up the newscast. I'm saying, oh my God, I don't have time to even pull my pants up. And I get up off the toilet and I'm crunching down the hall like crazy, my pants down to my ankles. And I go past the broadcast, the news booth, and through the glass, Lee's, I'm going, stretch, stretch, Lee, stretch. And he did the longest weather forecast at the end of the newscast that you'd ever heard in your life. I'll never forget that. That's my story. Thank you for the honor tonight. The best I ever
Smart mate.
Where are you going?